Assalamu alaikum and good day everyone. For this mentor segment, the International Islamic University Malaysia is very honored to present to you one of our most profound and prominent scholars who will be sharing his thoughts on the roles of academics in facing the challenges of the future. But before that, let me briefly introduce him to you. Distinguished Professor Tan Sri Dr. Muhammad Kamal Hassan was born in Pasir Mas, Kelantan in 1942. He is a Muslim academic and Islamic scholar specializing in contemporary Islamic thought, particularly pertaining to the Southeast Asia region. He was the rector of the International Islamic University Malaysia from 1998 to 2006. He was awarded the Tokoh Akademik Negara in 2017. Distinguished Professor Tan Sri Dr. Muhammad Kamal Hassan attended Sultan Ismail School in Kota Baru. He attained his bachelor's degree in Islamic Studies from University of Malaya in 1965. He furthered his postgraduate studies in Columbia University, where he obtained the degree of Master of Arts in 1970, Master of Philosophy in 1972, and Doctor of Philosophy in 1975. The foci of his writings are mainly on philosophy, religion, social issues, and education. Some of his famous works include the Encyclopedia of Malaysia, Religions and Beliefs, Islamic Identity Crisis in the Muslim Community in Contemporary Malaysia, Islamic Studies in Contemporary Southeast Asia, General Observations, Al-Islam fi Alam al-Malaya. Without much ado, I present to you Distinguished Professor Tan Sri Dr. Muhammad Kamal Hassan.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. I am honored indeed to be invited by the university to make this presentation for the Festival of Ideas organized by the Ministry of Higher Education. The topic given to me is the role of academics in facing future challenges. This is a very important topic, and I'm very happy to be asked to speak about it because I have been an academic for the last almost 50 years, if not more, in several universities. And academics are going to play more important roles in the future simply because we expect the future to be more challenging. Already we are having this pandemic for the last 2 years or more, and we hope it will not continue more further. But you can see that academics have to play a very important role in facing the challenges of the pandemic, especially among our doctors and who are among the frontliners, and they have to sacrifice their lives for the sake of the well-being and general health of the people. This is just one example of the inevitable role of academics in times of crisis. It looks like we're going to have more crises. Already there is this climate emergency, and scientists, environmentalists, engineers, economists, and many others have been, among the academics, have been very, very concerned about the future impact of climate change and also climate emergencies which are expected to happen in the future. Our academics play many important roles, such as becoming whistleblowers, like the climate scientists, warning the world for the last 30, 40 years that we're going to have more and more problems as a result of climate change and the global warming in the world. And, and we expect also that there might be more pandemics in the future, and therefore our medical experts, our doctors, our nurses will have to again play very important role to save human lives. And they are also, academics are also opinion leaders. They're experts in their own fields, and they may not agree with what the policy makers, the politician, the political leaders decide, and therefore they will put forward their opinions as experts in say, economics or political change and so on. And as opinion leaders, they help to provide the general public with good knowledge, good information, and good advice. Whether the political masters or the decision makers are going to accept or not, academics are not really bothered about that. They just want to give their views so that the country can benefit from their views, and they're not actually asking for payment for what they are doing. So what I would like to say that academics are in fact problem solvers. They are not problem makers, but political masters may see them as problems makers because the academics do not tend to always agree with the policies and the decision making of the political masters. And so the academics, the opinions of the academic are not always welcome by the political leaders, but they are important to me, indispensable problem solvers. And we hope that our country, our society, our nation will have this high regard for academics wherever they may be. So academics should feel vindicated, should feel proud that they're doing something good for society, even if the political masters and the administrators are not really appreciating their contribution. They should feel happy that they're able to give their expert opinions and advice and solutions to the problems faced by the society. We continue to show our sympathy and empathy for our doctors, the academics who are doctors joining the front line in facing the challenges of the pandemic. So what I would like to underscore is that our society, our country, and the world are going to face more and more problems, either in the form of economic crisis or climate disasters, psychological disorders, and also social ills. In the case of economic crisis, our academics who are in the area of economics, finance, banking, will go all out to find the solutions and answers to the crisis, to the economic crisis that the nation will be facing. When it comes to climate disasters, then our academics in the natural and the physical sciences will also rush to help society in overcoming these disasters without actually thinking of being appreciated or praised by the political masters. They would just do their best because they have been trained to exert to the best of their ability in the application of their knowledge for the benefit of society. When there is a big crisis as a result of climate change, food production and food security will also be a problem. And so our scientists, our food scientists, will have to work out different ways of producing food under those circumstances. This is very important because we feel that food security and food production are going to be seriously affected should there be a major climate disaster in the near future. But whatever crisis there may be, there will always be people who are unable to cope with the crisis. And this group of people is increasing, particularly when we look at the victims of pandemic COVID-19, when more and more young people, even old people, will just resort to extreme measures to overcome whatever psychological disorders they may be facing, the stress, the depression, the anxiety, and so on. And this is where our academics in the fields of psychiatry, in the field of psychology, mental health, sociology, can provide the suitable remedies for the sake of this group of people who are suffering from psychological disorders. We are alarmed by the fact that there are now more people, risking or not risking, deciding to take their lives as a result of severe depression. And this is also happening to some Muslims, which is quite rare in the past, but now it seems to be quite common, and this is a cause for concern among Muslim scholars and leaders. Now, among the academics, we have also in Malaysia and in many Muslim countries, there are academics in the field of Islamic religious education. These are the lecturers and the teachers, instructors, professors in universities teaching the subjects of Islamic values, Islamic ethics, Islamic philosophy, Islamic law, and so on. And now we find that even in the schools and the universities, more and more Muslim children are suffering from all kinds of social ills and also some kind of behavioral problems as a result of the negative impact of the social media and also other forms of media and entertainment. And so our academics who are religious scholars will have to play their role in saving the young people from social ills, from committing suicide, and so on. And now we also have this new social problem called LGBTQ in our society and in the world, and we have to find ways and means to overcome this problem. And here again, our religious experts in Islamic religious knowledge are called upon to tackle this problem in the best possible manner, not out of spite or hatred, but out of love and concern for fellow believers who may be experiencing this kind of behavioral um, irregularities, then we hope that our academics can withstand all these profound future challenges, because let's not forget that academics are human beings, and as such they have their own weaknesses. Some may be easily influenced by materialism, by greed, individualism, egoism, or status, or power. These academics are not saints, but they are expected by the public to be role models of good behavior, good character, and integrity. These academics need to live by their work ethics and by their religious beliefs and by their consciousness as scholars, thinkers, professionals, and lecturers. Now, we in IIUM, International Islamic University Malaysia, regard our academic professionals as not just instructors or teachers or lecturers. We regard them as murabbi. That is to say, they are serious but loving educators who have this moral concern and also humanistic concern for the behavior of their students. In other words, as murabbi, they are not just concerned about the IQ of the students or academic development of the student. They're also concerned about the moral development, the spiritual development, and how these students will develop into rounded, well-rounded human beings, and not just as geniuses with very high IQ, but with very low moral intelligence. Now, as someone who has been living the life of an academic for the last 50 years, I have an advice to give, also a reminder to the younger academics who are aspiring to become really well-established academics in their own spheres of specialization. I would like to advise them and remind them that you are not supposed to be servants of the ringgit. You're not supposed to be the servants of the ringgit, servant of race, or servant of status or power. You have to remember that you are servants of the truth, that you are the slave of truth, and that you are servants and slaves of God, however you define God. The Muslim has his own definition of God, the Buddhist has his own, or the Hindu has his own definition of God, the Christian has his own definition of God, but we are all creations of God, and that should be uppermost in the minds of academics, and that way academics will not be enslaved by power, enslaved by political masters, enslaved by the capitalistic conglomerates, or enslaved by the big power research institutes. So our academics should remember to be grateful to God for what they have, and that they should continue to strive to help the society as problem solvers. As I said, they are not problem makers, they are problem solvers, but they should be able to keep their identity and their integrity by working for the sake of getting the divine pleasure of God. So I'm going to close with that. I thank you very much for listening and for watching. I wish the ministry well, and I hope that our university, International Islamic University, will be able to provide good role models of the kind of academics that our society needs. So thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.